Objective 4, be able to analyze a redox equation to determine what species is oxidized and which is reduced. Be able to also predict what happens to each species oxidation number and if it is an oxidizing or reducing agent. So we got all kinds of stuff going on here. And I picked this one because usually you see two metals, a metal and a metal ion, and then they just start switching places. The metal ion takes electrons, becomes the metal. The solid metal loses the electrons, become the ion. But this is what would happen in electrolysis. We have bromine electrons and gold electrons. So before it was molten and these ions broke free of each other, this was gold bromide. And as it's electrolyzed, we end up with bromine gas and solid gold. So to analyze this, which species is oxidized and which is reduced, this one's actually pretty easy, even though it's not a typical one we see, because we know these are both going to be 0 over here, and we're given the charges on this side. So Br goes from minus to Br with no oxidation state, or 0, and then A plus to Au 0. So I guess technically it should be like this. So from minus to 0, that means there's a loss of electrons, so this is being oxidized, which makes it the reducing agent. Because by being oxidized, it allows another to be reduced. And what happens to its oxidation number? It decreased. And more specifically, it decreased by 1. The gold, on the other hand, its number increases, in this case by 1. I'm sorry, I just got that backwards. This is increasing because it was a negative. So its oxidation number is increasing as it's losing electrons. And over here, we've got the number decreasing or reducing. That's our clue. It's reducing by 1, that it is reduced. And it therefore is the oxidizing agent. So oil rig is how I keep it straight. Oxidation is loss, reduction is gain. And if you are oxidized, that makes you a reducing agent. And if you're reduced, you become an oxidizing agent. And remember, only the reactants can be the oxidizing or reducing agent. So if they asked you what was oxidized or what's the reducing agent, it would be Br minus, not Br2. And by the same terms, if they asked you what was reduced or what's the oxidizing agent, it's Au plus, not just the Au. So make sure you realize only reactants are oxidized and reduced, and only reactants are the agents.